So the first one is dealing with the affordability challenges. So we know that the problem for many first-time home buyers is affordability. I would argue even many move-up buyers, the challenge is affordability because they're comfortable in the house that they have right now and they think the payment's going to be too high on the home that they may be purchasing. So what top loan officers do is they shift the conversation from the interest rate and they shift it to the payment, right? Now, we know about that. Like, this is what the car industry does, right? Like, you go to buy a car and like, well, what do you want your payment to be? And if I could get you that payment, and we all are kind of trained to be like, don't fall for that trick. But it's not necessarily a trick. The reality is that the average consumer makes their budget based on their monthly payment. So I think strategies that help reduce the payment are where top loan officers are focusing right now. Believe it or not, I surveyed a number of loan officers within our company, and the number one strategy that people are using right now, which kind of surprised me, was 1 year and 2 year buy downs. Lender paid buy downs and seller paid buy downs. So that's like an old trick that, needs to just be dusted off. If you're not talking about buy downs with your real estate agents and your buyers, then I think you're missing the boat. Because if you could have a conversation with someone and said, look, if I could reduce your payment for the first 12 months by $500 a month or $400 a month or whatever that number might be, would that make a difference in your buying decision? Do you have anything happening in your life over the next 12 months that might be increasing your income over time? Are you going to get a raise? Things like that. So I think the buy down is a huge opportunity that people might be missing. And then using seller concessions, you guys, look, this is a conversation I'd be having with listing agents even, right? I mean, do the math for them and show a $20,000 reduction in price, which, by the way, I don't know if you're looking at the market, at least in my market, I see price reductions all the time, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 price reductions. Higher end homes, $200,000 price reductions in some of the luxury markets, especially in Washington. There was an over inventory of luxury homes. What about presenting options to not necessarily do that big price reduction, but to fund a permanent buy down even for somebody, right? Advertise a significantly lower interest rate using the seller concession as the buy down. So I think this is an area where top producers, even if the borrower doesn't do the buy down, it's having the conversation with your borrower about ways of reducing their monthly payment through temporary buy downs, permanent buy downs, things of that nature. Now, I will just caveat this. Permanent buy downs, I think, can be a great solution, especially, if you remember, 3 years ago, we were talking about, marry the house and date the rate. And everyone thought, why would you pay permanent buy down? Rates are never going to stay this high. And well, we've had a few dips, but rates are still high. So, I think a permanent buy down becomes a little bit more of a reasonable conversation to have with somebody. But I like temporary buy downs. You use the seller's money, you get a bigger bang for your buck. And, most people's situations financially tend to improve over time. So anyway, tackling the affordability challenge right up front, shifting that conversation away from what's the rate today versus what's a strategy that's going to put you in a lower payment that's going to meet your needs a little bit better. So that's the first one. The second area.